Oh, the Always Believe House. Oh, today we're going to continue our first lesson. Actually, we're not going to continue. You're going to do your first lesson in factoring. Today you're going to learn how to factor out the GCF. The greatest common factor. Wow. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, I'm going to go back to 5th grade with you, okay? So let's go back to 5th grade. Let's write down and let's do 12 over 18. Okay, everyone got that? In 5th grade, you learned to simplify that. Now then, the way we're going to do this with numbers, there's several ways to get the GCF. You can prime factor and circle all your common factors out. I'm going to do it this way, okay? I'm going to pick my smallest number. My smallest number is 12. So I'm going to write down the 12, and then I'm going to write down the factors of 12. This is extremely important. This is how you're going to factor trinomials later. So the factors of 12, 1 times 12. The factors are the numbers that multiply to give you that number. 2 times 6 works, and 3 times 4 works. After 3, you get to 4, so you stop. When you get to that bottom right number, you stop. Now then, start at the top left at the 12. Does 12 go into 18? It does not, does it? But 6 does, doesn't it? 6 is the greatest number that goes into 12 and 18. So you would divide both of these by 6, and you would get 2 over 3, wouldn't you? This 6 right here is the GCF. We're going to find the GCF today, not only with just numbers, but numbers and letters and exponents. So this is going to take another notch up. But basically, you're simplifying a polynomial with the GCF. So let's go to this and watch what we do here. We're going to take both of these terms and multiply them by a. So 3a times a would be 3a squared, and 7 times a would be 7a. Okay, let's go to the next one. We're going to multiply everything by negative 2m. Okay, so a negative times a positive is a negative. The number's 2, the letter's m, the exponent's 3. Remember, these exponents are 1s. A negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 6 is 12. The letter is m, the exponent's 2. A negative times a negative is a positive. My number, 2 times 1 is 2, and my letter is m. And lastly, go to the next one. We're going to multiply everything by 5xy. Okay, sign, number, letter, exponent. We got 2 Bluebell trucks. We're working that out. Or actually, the Bluebell trucks go into 2 stores, so we're going to have 2 times we're going to multiply. This x has a 1, doesn't it? So 5 times 1 is 5. My first letter is x, and I have 2 of them, don't I? That's x squared, and then I have a y. So 5x squared y is my first multiply. Go to the next one. A positive times a negative is a negative. 5 times 2 is 10. My first letter alphabetically is x. I only have 1 of them. My second letter alphabetically is y, and I got 2 of them, y squared. So that's what you did when you multiplied. Now then, basically what we're going to do today is take out that Bluebell truck. So let's go to the first problem. What can we take out of these 2 right here? We can divide both of them by a. So watch what happens. I'm going to put 3a squared plus 7a and divide both of these by a. The a pulls out to your Bluebell truck, and you're left with 3a plus 7, which is exactly the problem we started with. Okay, the next one's a little bit more tricky. I'm not going to do that because of the negative out in front. Let's go to the next one. 5x squared y minus 10xy squared. I'm kind of jumping ahead of the lesson, but I think this is important because you can see how we're going backwards. Both of these numbers divide by 5, don't they? So we're going to divide by 5. They both have an x, and the smallest exponent on the x is the 1. They both have a y, and the smallest exponent on the y is a 1. So I could take out a 5xy, can I? I'm going to draw parentheses. 5 divided by 5 is 1. X squared divided by x is x. Y divided by y is 1. It cancels out. Put minus. 10 divided by 5 is 2. X divided by x is 1. It cancels out. Y squared divided by y1 is y. And look at this. This is the same thing as this in it. This is what you're going to learn to do today, okay? So we're going to pull out the biggest number that divides into all the numbers and use the smallest exponent for the letters. So Let's go down to here. What is factoring? Factoring is basically, it's in this term right here, it's undoing the distributive property. Basically, you're taking the GCF out of the terms. Another way you can look at it is dividing out the GCF. From the polynomial. Okay? Another way you can look at factoring later on, factoring is how you solve, it's a basic way to solve quadratics. And you don't know what that is yet, but this is huge right here. This is how most people will solve quadratics, so factoring. Quadratics, you'll learn that in the next unit, okay? That is the basic level for those going into engineering. It's the base level of calculus, okay? This is huge right here. It's your first lessons into this. For those that are going to engineering, this is the basic arithmetic of the math you're going to be doing. Polynomials that can't be factored, think about 13. You can't write factors of 13, can you? It's called prime. Okay, so if you can't prime factor, or if you can't factor a polynomial just like a number, it's prime. Okay? Now then, what we're going to learn today is to find the GCF and write this down. Use the smallest exponent in the GCF. Use the smallest exponent in your GCF. So let's go to this one. Okay, we have 3x plus 12. Okay, basically what you're doing, write down 3x plus 12. What can you divide into the 3 and the 12? You can divide a 3, can't you? That's the biggest number that goes into 3 and 12. So you would pull out the 3 and then divide. You would get x plus 4. Notice you're undoing the distributive property, aren't you? If we were to multiply that, you would get 3x plus 12, wouldn't you? Think about trying to pull out the bluebell truck. That 3 is the GCF. It's also the bluebell truck, isn't it? Okay, let's go to number 2. What can we divide out of 7y and 7? I'm just going to do it right here. We could pull out a 7, and we divide, and we would get y minus 1, wouldn't we? If we were to multiply that, we would get 7y minus 7. Ho, 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 ho. Go to the next one. I like the way this work is designed because almost all these problems are just binomials. When it gets to trinomials, it'll be a little bit harder. What's the largest number that goes into 5 and 30? It's 5, right? Now then, notice they both have letters, but they're not the same letters, are they? Both of them don't have x and both of them don't have y. I cannot pull out a letter. So I'm just going to divide by 5. That's going to turn into my bluebell truck. And I'm going to be left with x plus 6, or plus 6y, I'm sorry. If I were to multiply that, I would get 5x plus 30y, wouldn't I? Continuing on. Okay, right here, 8 and 36. The largest 8 won't go into 36, but 4 will. Okay, another way you could get this, and this works with just 2 letters. Type in 8 over 36 on the calculator. So I'm going to punch 8 divided by 36, and I'm going to get 2 over 9, right? So I'm going to go back to here and write 2 over 9. What did I do to 8 to get to 2? I divided by 4, didn't I? That 4 would be my GCF. That only works with 2 letters. When you get 3 letters in there, it will not work, okay? But I know that 8 over 36 will simplify to 2/9 with the calculator, so 4 is going to be my GCF. So I'm going to divide these by 4. 4 will turn into my bluebell truck. And then 8 divided by 4 is 2. My letter is M. 36 divided by 4 is 9. My letter is N. So that right there would be the answer with it. Notice that the 2 and the 9 are right here, aren't they? That's what goes into the parentheses, right? Into your polynomial. Let's go to number 5. You got 6 and 27. You could do the same thing on the calculator. Hit 6 divided by 27. You would get 2 over 9. You would divide by 3, wouldn't you? So we're going to divide by 3. And we're going to write down the 3 as the bluebell truck. And then we're going to divide twice. 6 divided by 3 is 2. My letter is A, my exponent's 2. Sign, number, letter, exponent. That will not change. A positive divided by a positive is a positive. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Ding, 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 ding. I got my answer. Continuing on, number 6. Okay, same thing. You can punch 4 divided by 24 on the calculator. 4 goes into them, right? But notice they both have y, don't they? Use the smallest exponent, which is 1. So I'm going to take a 4y to the 1 out. So I'm going to write down 4y. I will not put the 1 exponent. Now that I'm going to divide, and when you divide, you subtract the exponents. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. I don't put the 1. Y squared divided by y1 is y. 2 minus 1 is 1. I don't put the 1. Negative divided by positive is a negative. 24 divided by 4 is 6. This is 6th grade integer math. And the y's will divide out, won't they? This right here is the answer. If I multiplied that, I would get 4y squared minus 24y. Oh, let's continue on to number 7. 21cd minus 3d. 3 goes into the numbers, and they both have the letter D, don't they? So I'm also going to pull out a D. So the 3D will turn into my bluebell truck. Now that I'm going to divide twice. Sign, number, letter, exponent. 21 divided by 3 is 7. The C drops. The D's will divide out, won't they? The next sign will be minus. 3 divided by 3 is 1. The D's will divide out. That's my answer in it. Oh, this is pretty simple stuff since we're only doing binomials. This will get harder when we have 3 terms, okay? Stay with me here. You've never done this before. Your teacher should have been telling you this is going to get hard. The next couple of weeks will be the hardest part of this course. Make sure you're doing all the problems. Number 8, 14 and 18, they divide by 2. If you can't figure the GCF out, do 14 divided by 18 on the calculator. It's going to give you 7 over 9. You're going to divide by 2, aren't you? Okay, so we're going to divide by 2. They don't have G's, but they both have H. So I could take a 2H out of them, can I? Now then we're going to divide. The 2H turns into my bluebell truck. 14 divided by 2 is 7. The G will drop. The H's divide out. The next sign is minus. 18 divided by 2 is 9. The H's divide out. Close it. If you are weak with your arithmetic, this is like so hard. You have to use the calculator. You got to believe you can do this. You've got a calculator. It's going to take time to do this. You've got to use that calculator if you can't do your basic add, subtract, multiply, divide. Let's go to number 9. This gets a little bit harder. 15 divides into 15 and 30, doesn't it? 5 does it. 5 works, but 15 is larger. So we're going to divide both of them by 15. They both have A's. My smallest exponent is a 1 in it. And they both have B's, don't they? So if they all have the same letter, you write down the letter and you use the smallest exponent. My GCF is 15AB. That turns into the bluebell truck. Now then I'm going to divide twice and do sign, number, letter, exponent. 15 divided by 15 is 1. The A squared divided by the A to the 1 would be A to the 1 or A. And the B's will divide out, won't they? Start all over. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 30 divided by 15 is 2. The A's will divide out and so will the B's. Ding, ding, ding. That's my answer. It gets easier. The more you do this, the easier it gets, okay? Number 10. 16 and 24. If you punch 16 divided by 24 on the calculator, you get 2/3. They divide by 8. So we're going to divide these by 8. They both have B's. So B and B, they both have C's, and the smallest exponent on both of them are 1s, right? So the 8BC will turn into my bluebell truck. Now then I'm going to divide twice. 16 divided by 8 is 2. The B's divide out. C squared divided by C is C to the 1 or C. A positive divided by positive is a plus. 24 divided by 8 is 3. The B's divide out. The C's divide out. That's my answer. If I were to multiply that, I would go up. Remember, basically, you're taking the bluebell truck out. You are undoing the distributive property. It's basically what factoring with the GCF is. Let's continue on to number 11. A, B, and A. They don't have any numbers, but they both have A's, don't they? So I'm going to write down my A as my GCF, start a parentheses, and I'm going to divide twice. The A's divide out, the B drops, the sign's minus, A divided by A is 1. That's my answer. If I multiply that, I get AB minus 8 on it. Pretty simple stuff. Continuing on to number 12. X squared plus 3xy. They don't have any numbers in common, but they both have an X. So I could take an X out. That X is going to be my GCF. I'm going to start a parentheses. I'm going to divide twice. X squared divided by X is X to the 1 or X, plus my number's 3. The X's divide out. My letter would be Y. So that would be the answer. Now then, let's go rocking and rolling and do some of your homework problems. Remember, you must do all of these problems. Make sure you can do them all. This is going to get harder. So keep doing all the work we're giving you. If you have trouble, message your teacher. Okay, so we're going to do, we got 18 problems. I'm going to do one on each row. So number 2, we got the 8 and the 6. They both divide by 2, don't they? So I can divide both of them by 2, and 2 is going to be my GCF. Start up parentheses. 8 divided by 2 is 4. My letter's M. The next sign will be minus. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So all you got to do, remember, you are doing sign, number, letter, exponent, and when you divide, you subtract the exponents. The next one I'm going to do is number 6. Okay, we have 36a squared plus 24a. The GCF here would be 12. If you can't figure that out, punch this in on the calculator. You get 2 over 3. And then you got to, what do you do to 24 to get 2? You divide by 12, don't you? So we're going to divide both of these by 12. And then they both have the letter A and the smallest exponent's at 1. That 12a turns into my bluebell truck. Now that I'm going to put a parentheses, I'm going to divide twice. 36 divided by 12 is 3. A squared divided by A is A. Plus 24 divided by 12 is 2. The A's divide out. Ho, 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 ho. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Oh, this is so much fun. Number 7. 18x to the 4th minus 12x squared. 18 and 12 both divide by 6. This is really hard if you can't figure out the GCF here. Just use the calculator like I've taught you. They both divide by 6. They both have x's, and the smallest exponent is a 2. So 6x squared is my GCF. It turns into my bluebell truck. Start a parentheses. Sign, number, letter, exponent. 6th grade integer math with the letter x. 18 divided by 6 is 3. The letter is x. 4 minus 2 is 2. Sign, number, letter, exponent. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 12 divided by 6 is 2. X squared divided by x squared divides out to 1. It just drops. That's the answer. Ho, 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 ho. The next one we're going to do together is number 12. 8ab minus 56a. 8's the largest number that goes into 8 and 56. This is really tough if you can't figure out that number. Use the calculator. And then they both have a's. But they do not both have B's, do they? So 8a is my GCF. Start a parentheses. 8 divided by 8 is 1. It cancels. A divided by A is 1. It cancels. My letter's B. It drops. The next sign will be minus. 56 divided by 8 is 7. The A's divide out. Ding, 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 ding. That's my answer. Let's continue on. Number 14. This has 3 terms. Notice we got x squared, x cubed, y squared, x squared, y, and x. They almost all have y's. They do have all x's, don't they? So let's draw 3 fraction bars. We can divide everything by x. The smallest exponent's 1 in it. So my x will turn into my GCF. Now then I'm going to go through and divide. And remember, when you divide, you subtract the exponents. Put those ones there if you need. So x cubed divided by x is x, and 3 minus 1's 2. The y to the second drops. Plus, x squared divided by x to the 1 would be x to the 1 or x. The y drops. Plus, x divided by x is just 1. That's my answer, okay? F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Isn't this fun? If you think this is hard, wait till next week. Wow. you are in for a treat. Okay, and lastly, the last one I'm going to do for you is 16. 36 and 48. Like I said, if you can't figure it out, use the calculator. Punch 36 divided by 48. The answer is going to be 1/2. I'm sorry, Chimney Cricket. It's going to be 3/4. Now then, figure out what do you do to 36 to get 3. You can punch 36 divided by 3 if you want. It gives you 12. You're dividing those by 12, right? 12 will be your GCF. They both have the letter A, they both have the letter B, and the smallest exponent on the A and the B are both 1. So 12AB will be my GCF. So I'm going to write down 12AB, that's my GCF, start my parentheses, sign, number, letter, exponent twice. 36 divided by 12 is 3. The A's divide out, B squared divided by B is B. Start all over. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 48 divided by 12 is 4. You did this arithmetic in 6th grade integer math. The A squared divided by A would be A to the 1. You did not do letters and exponents. You did the integer work. B divided by B is 1. This right here was the answer. You don't put a 1 on the exponent, do you? Piece of cake. Okay? Finish these problems up. Finish the problems up. Do all the problems. You will get quicker as you go through these. If you have trouble, message your teacher. Remember, you are amazing. You are born to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.